What if one conversation could change everything? What if today was literally the day that you finally saw yourself, the real you, without the old stories, without the fear, without the weight of everything that's been holding you back? Well, that's exactly what's happening right here, right now. And today, it all begins.
One, two, three, four.
Welcome to Simply Woman, the podcast. It's only taken me 21 years. Crystal Andrus Morissette, and this is not just another podcast. This is a space for real, raw, on the spot transformation. Empowerment coaching is unreal, how much it can just shift things. I love that saying that Wayne Dyer used to say, and gosh, I'm so blessed that I got to know Wayne and spend some time with him and travel some of the different I can do at events. But I remember he used to sit on the stage and say, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I always thought, yeah, and when you change the way you look at people, the people change. When you change the way you look at yourself, it's unbelievable. But you change the way you see yourself, and beauty really is in the eye of the beholder. Every single episode, we're going to be doing some coaching. I'm going to be doing some coaching with real women right here, just like you, who are ready to maybe break free from the past or a story or even just a situation that's going on right now. Like, why? This is like, I'm on the treadmill, I'm on repeat. Maybe it's time for you to reclaim more of your power, more of your energy. Maybe you're ready to actually step in to the woman that you are always meant to be. And so I am so excited because right now women are raising their hands right here in our little, what are we going to call this? Our Simply Woman recording studio right now, stepping into this moment with me. And I'm so excited because they don't know exactly what's going to happen. And I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But I know that they're ready. They're ready or they wouldn't be here today. And here's the best part. You might hear your own story in theirs. And you might find the breakthrough that you didn't even know you needed. Because the truth is, transformation doesn't just happen for the woman I'm coaching. This is what's so beautiful about this. It happens for every single one of us. Everyone who chooses to listen, to feel, and to rise. So we're going to put 2 feet on the floor. I always say this, we got a root to rise. So you got to feel grounded. Put 2 feet on the floor and let yourself rise up tall in your being. Remember that the center of who you are, the core of who you are, can never be lost. It's sort of like your golden magic. Sometimes we put layers of protection on top of us, protection to, and I think it's interesting because a lot of times we don't even know until we do this type of work that we've put on layers of protection to keep our golden self, our real self, our essence safe. And so we don't have to be mad at these protective parts. We don't have to be mad at the parts of us that step in and take over. And sometimes we might even say, what the heck was going on last night? Who was I? That's not even me. Well, no, it's a part of you. It's a part of you that says, oh, no, we're not going to let this golden, beautiful essence of a woman be hurt. We're going to protect her. So let's do it. Today, we're going to meet the first woman who is brave enough. I don't want to see it. Don't worry, Dorothy. But it's the first woman who bravely said, I'm ready. Very first one. I'm ready. Let's see where this takes us, because I can promise you this is just the beginning. So, Dorothy, I would love if we could just jump right in. I know that this is our first podcast here, and I said let's do some coaching, and Dorothy said I'm in. So, Dorothy, do you want to go ahead and unmute your line? And I know you're kind of on the spot, but this is what's so beautiful about this kind of coaching. Welcome.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for your energy.
Thank you, Dorothy. And I think this is what a lot of us don't realize when we talk about what empowerment is. I think we can get caught up in sort of like, yes, it is the way we negotiate and communicate and compromise. Yeah, it is all in the ways we show up. But ultimately, what it really comes down to is the energy, the authentic energy that we feel inside, and the authentic energy we bring, whether we realize it or not, into every exchange, into every conversation, into every relationship, everywhere we go. And so we all love to be around that person. And we've all met people like this. And we've all, I'm certain, had times in our life where we just felt like, bam, you guys will get to know me and all my little sounds. Bam, like, damn, I'm feeling good today. That's energy. That's energy. And we all have times where we feel great. Things are clicking. We feel it's just, wow, I feel good. That's energy. And there's times in life, for whatever reason, it might be nothing to do with us. It's not our fault. It's circumstances, it's life, it's reality as the way that we are seeing it. It's really hard for us to feel good. And so, what empowerment coaching is, and what we're going to be doing in these conversations, is helping you take back your power so that no matter where you're going, no matter what you have to deal with, no matter who you're dealing with, no matter what's happening, you have this inner sense of self-efficacy, this inner sense of, I'm going to be okay. And then even better than that, like that's what we just want to get someone to, is like, you know what? It's going to be okay. But if we can actually then get someone to the point of like, it's not only going to be okay, it's going to be great. Like that woman can't help but bring that energy into everything she does and everywhere she goes. And it authentically feels good in the body. So Dorothy, I know we're sort of just jumping in today, but is there an area of your life right now or anything going on for you right now that you would love to get some clarity around, or maybe a little support?
Absolutely. This call has come at a really good time.
Great.
So
I'm
I
gonna, just so
am,
you know, I take
yeah,
notes, and I'm gonna figure out how
go
to take
for it.
notes with my Yeti mic, but it's all gonna work. Here we go. So Dorothy,
Okay.
talk to me, sister.
So, um, as you know, I left the corporate world quite a number of months ago and decided to hang up my HR hat in the traditional sense and start my own business as a coach and also as a fractional HR consultant. And I was geared up, ready to go. Momentum was on high. It was December. We were going into January, and then January got here, and Dorothy went, ugh. And then I started to do some self-reflection. Okay, what's causing me to lose this momentum that I had at such a high level in December? And I realized that part of it was my old self, in the sense that January also always symbolized an extremely busy time for me in my HR career. And, you know, you'd go through the holidays and you would enjoy that, but then boom, bam, you're back into January and you better get going because the roller coaster ride is about to start. And I think for me, I was programmed like that for so many years.
You were.
And then I was like, but wait a minute. You know what? Nobody said because it's January 6th, it's the first work day of the year that you have to be working today.
I know.
You don't report to anybody. You report to you. It doesn't matter.
It's really exciting. I know. And you
Right?
gotta be like, okay.
So
So I don't have a
I
boss.
was like,
Okay. So I
all
gotta
right,
be my own boss. Okay. Now I gotta be my own boss. I got to
right.
set my own schedule. I got to set my own energy. I got to create the office. I got to create the environment. Okay. So now, but it's so great that you had, I'll tell you this right out of the gate. What great self reflection that you were able to go, wait, this is an old story. And not
Yes.
even, and maybe not even say, not that I mean to correct you, but maybe not even my old self, just, oh, this is an old story. And this was so repetitive. And this was such a routine. And this was just January blues and overwhelm. And then I always went into, I'm just guessing because I'm a little bit intuitive, but I also have just coached women for 30 years. And then we go into February, and then there's the February blues, and there's a whole story of all the people who we always worked with and all the corporate, and everybody hates January. Everybody in corporate hates January. And there's not really a big holiday until when? If you get March break off. So everybody that works corporate, unless you've learned how to stay empowered no matter where you work, we're all pulled into, and let's also remind ourselves, Dorothy, that not only do we feel energy just through a computer screen, like we can be here and we can feel each other, and then we can actually, through osmosis, energy will lifts energy. That's what's so beautiful. We can lift each other up. But let's also be honest, if you're going into an office every day and morale isn't the greatest, and you're in HR, and everybody just had their happy doodah Christmas and spent all their money, and now they're back, and the whole environment you're working in. So if every single person, let's just imagine, well, we know this, everybody gives off energy. Like, why? I feels like finally people are talking about it, going, yeah, it's real. Like, so everybody goes, oh, you mean when you walk into a room, a dog can tell if you're going to be scared of them or if you're aggressive, or well, yeah, and people can too. And so
Hmm.
if you're in an environment where you're surrounded by people who are kind of miserable, holy damn, you would have to be like Jesus to be able to keep your energy high. So this is why we always say environment is so important, the environment that we're creating. Now, does that mean everybody that works in a job they don't like, they quit their job? No, but guess what, Dorothy? You did.
Yes. And
You're
I'm
not
thankful for it.
there anymore, but you have an old story that's playing on repeat, which is a
Hmm.
brain thing. So then when it becomes very exciting about empowerment coaching, it can be like, okay, so it's a brain, but here's what's so beautiful. It's kind of challenging at times to say to somebody, change your thoughts. We've all been told it. Thoughts become things. If you think about it enough times, it's going to happen. It's true. But how do we change a thought? And how do we grab our thoughts? By how we feel. So, how do you know how you're thinking? By asking yourself, how am I feeling? So, let's not even go back to January now, because you've already told me January was blah. I had the January, headed into February now. I got a little of the February blues. I'm on an old story. My brain is on a pattern that, for how many years did you work in corporate?
26 years in HR.
So, for 26 years, I always knew that January was, I had to amp up. So, here's the other thing. Could there also possibly be a little bit of, I don't know what to do with myself right now. I mean, I do know what to do with myself. I got so many things I need to do, but I'm so used to January being chaotic that I'm almost polarized now. And that's what polarized thinking can do. It's like all or nothing. I'm on or I'm off. I'm going crazy at work in HR, or I think I might be getting depressed at home here for trying to figure out how to get my next clients. I don't know. Where are you at, Dorothy?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a little bit of an element of that going on. So of course now it's like, okay, it's a brand new year. And I told myself, and I'm still telling myself this, so I want to be clear. I'm a badass bitch, and I know I can do this business and make it successful.
Of course.
I freaking know that.
Yes.
I believe in myself 150% in that.
Okay.
But there's something holding me back. And I'm not 100% sure exactly what that is. But I'm not in it with both feet, I wouldn't say. I'd say I was in it with maybe 1 foot and 9 toes.
Okay, so let's stay with this, because one of the very simple things we're going to do right now out of the gate, and one of the things that I teach women all the time, and it's one of the simplest ways of manifesting 101. We're going to do a real quick manifesting. Here's a breakthrough right now for anybody that wants one. You make a list of the things you say you really want. I think we've probably done this before, Dorothy, but we're going to do it right now. So I'm a badass bitch. Okay, we're going to
Mhm.
write that one down. I love writing word for word what people say, so that like in 5 years from now, when we do a coaching call, I'll be like, you remember that time you told me I'm a badass bitch?
I am.
And then you might be like, oh, I'm so mortified. Or you'll be like, I am even a bigger badass bitch now than I was then. But it's always great. And I love to write things down word for word, because then, and also as a coach, this is how we build rapport. So there's another little inside scoop. When somebody says, I'm a badass bitch, that pretty much tells you can say things like badass bitch. But if somebody comes on and says, like, I just got back from church, I did a confession. I was doing my confession this morning. You might not say badass bitch to that lady. You might be like, all right, so how are you feeling today? Let's sing a little choir song together. Let's get in. Anyways, Crystal's having her humor. She thinks she's funny. Okay, the badass bitch says, I believe in myself. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. Okay, here's manifesting 101. Write down what it is you really want. Okay. I'm going to actually narrow it down to three things right now. I want you to write down three things you really want. Write them down. Everybody can do this. Write it down. And so that's the three things right now you keep saying you want this. My cat's going to join the podcast just to let you know. Yeah, I hear you, Lulu. And then beside it, I want you to write a number between 1 and 10. And 10 is, I want this so bad. Like, I mean, I'm really going to be dramatic here in my 10. I want this so bad. If I don't do this, a part of me will really feel like I failed myself. I abandoned myself. If I don't do this, there's going to be a part of me that feels like, wow, I gave up a part of myself, something I really wanted to do in this lifetime, and I may never get another chance. And that would be really shitty. I can say shitty because you already said badass bitch. Now, if you had said that would be poo poo, I would be like, that would be yucky, yucky, cuckoo poo poo. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10, I need this. I want this. I need to do this. This is really important to me. 1 is no. 7 is, it would be so nice. It would be amazing if I could do it. But if I don't, I'll be fine. So now you know where you're rating it. Now, beside those three things, I want you to truly take a pause in your heart of hearts, not how much you want it, but how much deep, deep down on a scale of 1 to 10, you, we're going to do it this way. You not only want it, you only feel like you want it, you think you want it, but here's what a 10 is. You are 150% certain it will happen. That's 10. So now I want you to write a number beside that one, which is, I believe it's going to happen. In fact, believe isn't even a good enough word. I am 100% certain it will happen. That's 10. Now give it a number. So when you look at your list, Dorothy, and you give me your very first thing, tell me what it is on your list.
Happiness and balance.
Happiness and balance. I want that with a 10. And that's pretty big. Like, so I would actually break that down even more if it went, and maybe we will. Happiness and balance. What was your second thing?
A financially successful business.
A financially successful business. And what was the third thing?
Flexibility.
Flexibility. So two of those things are more of, I guess they're all relative, really. They're all relative. Like what's happiness to somebody might not be happiness to somebody else, but it's happiness for you. So I will let you know my word of the year was happiness. And believe me, I've had one last year was, I think it was reckoning. Like they haven't been all like, fairy tales and rainbows, all my words. Sometimes my words are like, but this year was happiness because I want happiness too. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how badly do you want happiness?
10.
And how much
They're
do you
all
want
10. They're all 10.
They're all 10. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe for sure you're going to be happy?
Oh, 10. Without question.
Okay. And how much on a scale of 1 to 10, or do you believe you're going to have, what was the second one you said?
A financially successful business.
And how much do you believe that one?
A 9.
Right. So I'm going to stop you right here before we go any further. I already knew the fact that you wrote happiness first and then a successful business. That is not your number one priority right now. The reason that you haven't kicked into your career this year in January like you thought it would is because it's not even at the top of your priority list. And if you have an idea in your head that business is a 9, but happiness is a 10, then happiness and business are not aligned right now. Because you're actually seeing, I want to be happy. How much was your flexibility? What number was that one?
I had it as a 10. That's really important.
Okay. So happiness and flexibility, to me, what I'm hearing, and I'm going by feeling, by the way, I've been doing this 30 years. I feel things off people. So it's not that I know it, but somehow I know things. And what I know and what I felt was right now for you, Dorothy, I'm going to speak from my heart for a minute. And I feel that right now for you, you're in a period of healing and transition. And although you so badly just wanted to be in the fall, like I'm doing the thing and I'm building the course and I'm doing I don't know. And we can talk a little bit deeper about the thing that's holding you back. Because you said there's something holding me back. And you're right. There is. And we're going to get to it. And if I didn't have this mic here, I'd be writing notes right now. So I'm going to be speaking more. We're going to get to it. So there is something holding you back. But underneath that, I'm intuitively going to say, this is my gut feeling, that you've had a lot of stress for a long time.
Yep.
There is a laugh of truth. Ladies, when you
Oh yeah.
have a laugh that quick, but it's not funny, that means there's something in their nervous system that just went, it's like a comedian. When somebody says something and we all laugh, it's because something in our nervous system just got triggered. So what Dorothy is really saying is, holy cow, I have been in overdrive for so long that I finally left the HR job, and then I settled down a little bit, and then I had a fun December, and I was like, and then all of a sudden I was like, the reality of everything I've been through is hitting me. And normally January, I don't have time to pause and rest and reflect. January is the time of the year, if we were to listen to nature and we were to follow our natural rhythms of our bodies, like we said, 2 feet on the floor. This is, if you look outside, holy geez, I think we got hit last night with, would I be exaggerating, 10 feet of snow? This is the time of year. And listen, I am still launching things and doing things and creating. But I'll tell you this, the energy that I have had through December, this chair is bugging me. So sorry about that. I don't have ADHD. I'm never going to say that ever again, but I hear everything at all times. So that clicking on the chair has to be remedied for the next call. I will tell you that the energy that you will naturally, organically have as a human being, a woman in touch with your body, is going to be different with the seasons. Does that mean we can't launch an incredible business in January? Yeah, we all do it every January. We all put our whole list of New Year's resolutions together, and then we all go, why have I fallen off track by January 22nd? Well, because January is actually the time when everything hunkers down and everybody gets a little bit slower and everything gets a little bit more like when you think about the rose. I have these beautiful rose gardens, and like that's not the time that the rose is blooming. This right now is the time that actually everything has died, and down under the earth right now, all of these incredible things are happening in stillness and in more of the quiet. And so I would say that the corporate world that you have lived in for 20 something years, here I go, is based on a patriarchal hierarchy. It's based on a
Oh
patriarchal
yes.
model. It's based
Absolutely.
on a model that doesn't work for women. It doesn't work for our bodies. It doesn't work for. So, what do, Dorothy, when we have to go to these corporate jobs? Well, guess what? I'm not coaching that woman today. I'm coaching the woman that said, for 20 something years, I lived in a world where there was hierarchy and there was pressure and there was stress and there was go, go, go. And we had to be there at a certain time and everything was in January was the most stressful time of the year. And I'm a woman. Damn it. And I'm more like nature. And this is not the time for me to have all this stress in my life. So I'm always like, yeah, like I think it's great. Everybody has their New Year's resolutions and their diets and all their stuff. And I don't mean to put any of it. I never, you know me, I'm all about the energy, but I also think it's listening and honoring. So there is something that's holding me back. In that more accepting place, do you feel yourself a little bit more accepting of what's gone on in the last month? Like you feel like, oh, maybe your body was
Oh
healing.
yeah.
Maybe your
I,
body.
I gave myself grace, and I spent a lot of time with a very good friend of mine and just being with that person. Where in the middle of the day we can have coffee if we want to, and it
You've
could
never
last an
done
hour,
that.
it could last 2 hours. Who cares?
And you needed this. And you need
I
this. Here's
did.
what I'm going to say. If you are in a position right now where you're like, I need a majorly thriving, successful business right now, then if you're like, second on my list is a very financially secure business. Well, now here's what I know is when I can accept myself for what I'm going through and that I wanted to be motivated. I'm being you right now, by the way.
Mhm.
I wanted to be motivated. I wanted to be incredible in January. I wanted to pull out all the stops and deliver all the punches and hit all the things and cross all the T's and dot all the I's. And I had big plans for January. It didn't work. The greatest gift you can give yourself right now is say, I accept that the plans that I had were not the plans for me. I accept that my body and my nervous system and my years and years of going and going and going revolted and refused to go into the old pattern that I'm so used to doing that January 6th makes my stomach feel sick and nervous. So this year, I listened to my body and I slowed down. And I know I had the to-do list, and the to-do list is important, but your to-do list already told me that it wasn't at the top of your list. So what gets in the way? Our to-do lists. What gets in the way is the expectations and pressures we put on ourselves if we don't really want it. Why are we putting it on our to-do list? So I know it's 9, meaning it's a number 9 on your list. So it's still up there. But what I'm hearing most importantly is I really want to feel happy. Let's put 2 feet on the ground right now. Let's close our eyes if we can do this just for a second, Dorothy.
Mhm.
Close your eyes. I'm going to do it with you. And let's just imagine right now that there's a little mini you standing on a little mini elevator right in the top of your head, right in your brain, your busy little brain that's always like neurons are firing. Oh my gosh, if you could actually see yourself in that little brain right now, there are neurons and synaptic pathways and things are firing. And holy, there's little tiny you and this like massive computer, and it's just like firing everywhere. And you see this little elevator on the wall, and we're going to walk over to the elevator. And we're going to press the elevator door button, and the elevator doors are going to open up there in that busy brain of yours. And you're going to step inside the elevator, and the doors are going to close, and it's going to be quiet. Take a deep breath, breathe in the silence. And then we're going to allow yourself to drop down, 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 down out of your busy brain and just almost feel the elevator dropping. And it's going to go right down past your throat chakra. And maybe your throat's like, it's really stuck. The elevator's stuck, and it's going to keep lowering down. And we're going to let it lower all the way down into your heart center. Put your hands right here on your chest if you can, where your solar plexus is or where your heart center is. And those elevator doors open, and there's a magnificent green, beautiful garden inside you. Inside your heart center, there is the most magnificent garden. Just stay with me if you can. Use your imagination. It is your most powerful tool for empowerment. Using your imagination, the doors open, there's green everywhere, green grass, green flowers, gorgeous flowers. The scent, the smell, it's your sacred garden. And there you are inside this beautiful place, and everybody has their own magnificent sacred garden. And over just not too far in the distance, there's a beautiful pond with a big fountain in the middle of the pond, and you walk towards the pond. And you pick up a little stone that's down by the pond, and you hold that little stone in your hand inside your secret garden beside the pond. And you hold that in your hand, that little pebble, and you say, I'm making a wish, and happiness and flexibility will be mine. And you take the pebble and you throw it into the pond. And now you become one with the pebble. And we allow ourselves to just drop down, down, down to the bottom of the pond, where all is still and all is quiet. And you can breathe down there at the bottom of the pond. And it doesn't matter if there's a huge storm going on up outside on top of the pond. It doesn't matter if the wind is blowing. It doesn't matter what's happening. You're down in this calm, still place where happiness and flexibility is always yours. And in that quiet place, you swim back up to the top, knowing that you have this stillness inside of you. And suddenly you just come out of the pond, and it doesn't matter. You're so alive and vibrant and happy and flexible and fulfilled. And breathing deeply into that, allow yourself and allow your body to anchor into this feeling. And in this accepting, happy, flexible place inside of you where all is as it's meant to be and everything is unfolding perfectly and nothing is wrong, everything is unfolding. You allow now to enter into your awareness, just as though you were floating by the pond or standing by the pond. You allow to enter into your awareness right now something you've been struggling with, something that's really been getting in the way, something that you don't have the answer to. And just in this moment, just ask yourself if your highest self has any wisdom for you. And if anything comes through, take it. If it doesn't, just be with it and know that over the course of the day and over the next few days, when all struggling ceases and everything slows down, that answer will become obviously apparent to you. And you will know because you know you. And deep down, you know how you feel. And if the answer hasn't come yet, just trust and know it's on its way. And it will come with grace and love and confidence. And gently bringing your awareness back into the room. And there's no rush. Breathing deeply, anchor yourself into that feeling. When we are in a more grounded place, we are more connected. We're closer to who we really are. And in that more grounded, calm, centered place, then we can start asking ourselves the truth. So, Dorothy, if I were to ask you right now just to fill in this sentence and don't overthink it, just whatever comes up for you, the truth is, the
I
truth is,
need some I need some more healing.
the truth is, I need more healing. Tell me the
Yeah.
next truth. The truth is,
I already have inner happiness. I just need to grasp onto it harder.
okay, so we're going to stay with that for a minute. And I want to just give you another tool here. So imagine that happiness is like sand. And when we grasp anything, it it's like grasping sand. It just siphons out through our fingers. So the happiness is already you.
Mhm.
You don't even have to grasp it. You don't have to do anything with it. You just actually have to allow it and say, I am happy inside. Try saying that.
I am happy inside.
I am happy inside.
I am happy inside.
I have actually created a life that, no, it's not everywhere I want it to be, but I am moving in the right direction and healing is happening to me. And healing is happening for me.
Yes, healing is happening for me.
Yeah.
100%.
So the truth is, there's something holding me back. And the truth is, without any judgment, it didn't make me a bad woman. It didn't make me a bad daughter, a bad mother, a bad wife, a bad sister, a bad anything, a bad coach. The truth is, I'm feeling,
I still have some wounds to heal,
yeah, yeah,
and they're not all about my professional life.
they very rarely are. There's another laugh of truth. No, but the professional life can keep us very busy and very distracted.
Mm-hmm.
And
You hit it.
very important
Yeah.
identity. I'm very,
Yeah.
very important. I
Yes.
am healing the world. I'm healing the world.
Yeah.
I'm very busy. I'm a VIP and I don't have time to heal me. I've
Right.
been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Thank you very much. So here's what's interesting. I didn't know at the time, and no one would see what has unfolded for me over the last 2 years and probably said, I don't know. I shouldn't say. I'm really learning to not assume what anyone would think, but it looks like I've done a lot. it looks, I'm thinking to the outside world, like she's done a lot. She's lost weight. She's done this and she's launched that and she's written this and I don't know, maybe it doesn't. But I've been in 2 years of healing. I've been in 2 years of slowing everything down and setting boundaries with people and not being so quick to have the answers and save the day and not being so quick to come up with the money. Because if I keep coming up with all the money all the time, nobody else has to. And so it can be hard for women to actually learn my feelings are my responsibility and your feelings are your responsibility. And I'm no longer responsible for other people's feelings.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean we can't be kind. And it means we have to set boundaries and we can do those boundaries with kindness. Sometimes it feels like you can't because you have somebody that's coming at you that won't listen when you're trying to be kind. And sometimes you have to set those boundaries with a fierceness that's still kind. But you're at a you're at a place right now, Dorothy. It's very apparent to me. You're ready to level up.
Yeah.
And to level up, there's some things you have to let go of because it's like holding on to sand. I'm holding on to these wounds. And you've been wounded. I've
Yep.
been wounded and I'm not ready yet to let go of these wounds because I have formed protection so that I don't get wounded anymore. And I don't know how to let go of the protection because what if I don't know how to keep myself safe and that stuff happens again? So, do you feel safe enough or comfortable enough just with me right now to share a little bit more about what's coming up for you that's not to do with work, that's to do with something
Sure.
personally? That's why
Yeah.
I really love coaching, to be honest.
Um, I think I attribute my strength of who I am to my late mother, who's, I think it's fair to say, I haven't fully grieved her
Yeah. Yeah.
and I miss her.
Yeah. Yeah.
She weighs on my brain every day. Sorry.
No, please let yourself let it
Yeah.
out. It's so good. It's so healing. You just talk right through it, whatever comes up for you.
She tells me every day, you can do this. You can do whatever you put your mind to. She always instilled in me the strength. And honestly, she didn't have a lot of strength in her own life, sadly, but she sure made sure I did.
She loves you and she is your cheerleader right now. And
Yeah.
actually, all the women who came before you right now are cheering for both of us. They're like, oh my God, this is so good. Dorothy and Crystal sitting in a tree. They're going to change the women in the world. And we're so happy. We're going to start with Dorothy. We're just going to start with Dorothy because Dorothy's doing some generational healing right now.
Yeah.
Dorothy isn't just healing herself, she's healing all the women who came before her and anyone who may come after. And all the women collectively all just rise up a little bit higher when Dorothy rises up a little bit higher. That's the impact we have. That's what energy is. So when did your mom pass, Dorothy?
July 3rd, 2016.
So it'll be 10 years this year.
Yeah.
It's a big year. So it's a big
I
time.
don't like that,
What part? I don't like what?
that it's been that long.
And why? Why don't you like that?
When I first lost her, I think a lot of it too is as, the first anniversary came and then the second anniversary, I didn't like the fact that one day I'd be sitting here saying, oh, my mother's been gone for 20 years. The idea of her not being in my life for that length of time was very uneasy and unsettling for me. She isn't going to get to see obviously some milestones. I have a son and she loved him to pieces, and she's not going to get to see all the milestones in his life because cancer took her way too early.
Yeah.
So, and we had our moments as mothers and daughters do.
Yeah.
So, uh, it's uh, it's been hard to. I wasn't able to put her photo up out in the open until last year.
Yeah. So this has been a very deep and grief is different for everybody. And nobody can tell you how fast to move through grief. In fact, I have a book and it's so interesting. I just had it out. It's sitting right there. It's called Transitions. Dorothy, it's actually in our empowerment coach. We talk about this book, Transitions by William Bridges. And
Yep.
what I love about his book on transitioning grieving is it aligns perfectly with the work we do as empowerment coaches. So, if we were to look at Dr. David Hawkins' map of consciousness in his book, Power versus Force, we would see that grief, if we were to imagine a map, I might in future get a little whiteboard here and I may be doing some drawing over here to the side. So, if we were to imagine that every emotion, and you know this, but I'm going to say this for everybody who might be listening and learning this for the first time, every single emotion can be calibrated to its level of vibration, its level of frequency, its speed that it vibrates at. So and this is why sometimes when things feel so good and somebody might go, you seem manic. And sometimes people say that to me, you seem manic. And I'm just like, no, I'm just so happy. I have so much energy. And I had to learn as I became more happy, more successful, had more frequency, currency, money, all of those things are increased energy. And if you don't know how to have the capacity in your brain, in your beliefs, in your emotional nervous system to hold that kind of energy, you'll be on an emotional roller coaster. That's what happens. Like we get up and then we crash, and it's almost like the higher the high, the harder the crash. So we're learning how to increase our energy naturally, always naturally, and then learning how to sustain it. Losing your mother was tremendously difficult for you. It was a massive loss for you. Um, and so, if we were to put that on the map of consciousness, imagining, let's just swap the word consciousness out because that can be a heady word and just put it empowerment or feeling good. We could just say map of feeling good. The lowest place, the worst that a human being can feel, or the heaviest, the hardest, the more grasping is an energy called shame. And that's what David Hawkins says. So shame is like, who I am is no good. That's not where you're at because you're saying, I believe in myself and I'm a boss bitch and I'm a this, that, and I'm jibba. So we're not struggling with shame. So we're going to keep moving along. And then the next level is guilt. And so here's the truth in all of that grief, usually when something is connected to our mother,
Hmm.
our father, but our mother,
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
very connected to something called root chakra. And root chakra is also connected. This is where we're going to bridge David Hawkins' map of consciousness with, Eastern philosophies of energy. But we're going to keep it just on a psychological where we're talking emotions. So shame, root chakra. Then the next level is guilt. I couldn't put a picture up of my mother for 9 years. Why?
It
Did
it
you?
was too hard to look at her face without
Because
being sad.
I felt
Sad.
sad. So underneath the sad is like, I feel guilty that I'm happy when she's not here. I feel guilty to be joyful and celebrate all of these amazing things. And my mom's not here to celebrate them. I don't know. It's very layered. And grieving is very layered. And then there's apathy, which is a feeling of almost hopelessness. Like I'm never going to see my mom again. That's a story that feels very real because she's physically passed. So there's real grief. Energetically, emotionally, spiritually, we might say, but you're talking to your mom. You just said she was in the room. She is. I love your
Mm-hmm.
little laugh of truth. Well, she is. She is around you. So I'm
Oh,
going to be
she's
so.
everywhere.
He's right now going, yeah, she tells me every day, like, hello, yeah, I'm the one that got you on this call.
Yeah.
Did you want to know how you got on the call? I got you on here. So your mom is watching everything. And I don't mean to poo poo on the grief and the sadness.
Oh no.
Your mom is around watching everything. She's like, what are you talking about? I am watching your son. In fact, I was there the other day while he was playing soccer and I was running down the field with him. I don't know what you're talking about, Dorothy. I'm more with him than I've ever been. But that's not that when you're in grief, telling that to somebody 10 years ago would have been like, shut up. My mom isn't here. But you're now moving through your transitioning. So then we move into that feeling of helplessness or that feeling of feeling victimized. I lost my mom. I was orphaned at too young of an age. Lost my mom to cancer. Now here's the level that's just a little higher that we're talking about today, and it's called grief. What I love is that William Bridges in his book Transitions, he connects that to the map. He doesn't, but I do. And he says there are 3 stages to grieving. And I love that it completely lines up with David Hawkins' grief. And then just above grief is an energy that no one wants to feel. But if I were to tell you, you cannot get up to feeling truly happy without moving through the next level because we can't spiritually bypass a level. You can't turn a light up and go like, but I don't want that frequency in there. You've got to move through every frequency to get to the top. So here's the level that most of us try to avoid. And William Bridges calls it like there's grief, there's the first, the loss. That's grief. That's your loss, the ending. And then the next level, David Hawkins calls it fear. Fear. And William Bridges says, oh, this is no man's land. This is the land of confusion. This is, I don't have my mom anymore. I don't know what life would look like without my mom. I don't even know how to really be happy anymore. I have unresolved things, or maybe you don't, things I really wanted to I wanted more time with her. So all of that's going on. That's in fear. And then there will come a moment, and here is the truth, Dorothy, if nobody ever taught us how to move through emotions, were you ever taught how to move through emotions?
Yes.
If we weren't taught that, we can very easily say, I don't want to feel afraid because it actually is like it feels like that inside your body. You've gone from feeling almost dead in grief and sorrow and sadness to, you know what we do? We run to the doctor, and I'm not putting anything down, but we run to the doctor and we go, I don't know what's happening. Like, I feel really, and he says, well, we can give you some medicine for that so you don't have to feel that. But what if that was your waking up again to the next level, which is just above it? And William Bridges calls it the new beginning.
Mm-hmm.
David Hawkins on the map of consciousness calls it desire. Now, here's the truth. Is desire the place where we're going to feel happy? No, but what desire says is, this isn't working for me anymore. This grieving for 10 years, I didn't know how to move through it fully. And now I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing we know with grief is it is layered. And there's probably times where you felt like you were through it, but then it came back again. And then you felt like you were through it. So now you're really reaching a point. And what you have to ask yourself is deep down inside, is there a place deep down inside of you that is saying, I'm ready?
The grief is different this time.
Now, how it's
Yes.
evolved. So where is the
Yes.
grief now? Tell me about that phase of grief now for you.
I celebrate her more. And when I look outside and I see a cardinal, I say, hi, Mom.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because now it's new beginnings, because now you actually realize I can actually begin to build the healthiest relationship I've ever had with my mom right now.
Yeah.
I can write in my journal every day to her, and I actually can let her write back to me. Now, I do this. I will actually be like, and my dad talks to me all the time. I can feel him coming through. Crystal, this is what needs to happen. Then I'll go, okay, dad. And then when it happens, he'll be like, I'm really proud of you. I know I sound crazy, but I know he's around me. And the Cardinals come and I go, hey, dad, how are you? And I don't know. And it all gives me, because here's what empowerment is, Dorothy. It's how it makes you feel. So if telling yourself a story over and over doesn't serve you, but it makes you feel like you've honored your mother, there is a pattern in that you need to know, because there is something psychologists call the grief loop.
Yeah.
And it is a psychological experience that when we think about somebody that we've lost, the pleasure part of your brain lights up, but instantaneously, the grieving, the painful part of your brain lights up. So you stay stuck in a loop. So I'm going to assert, I'm going to be like crazy and go, your mom is saying, honey, stop grieving me. I'm in the best place I've ever been. Honey, you think I'm not living? I'm living more than I've ever lived.
Oh, I bet she is.
Oh, she
I
is.
bet she is.
And doesn't that make you feel better?
Yes, 100%. She
So
deserved
why do
that.
we want to tell ourselves a story that would say, I'm so sad about my mom, and that your mom right now might be saying, honey, I love you. You've grieved long enough. Please, please get on with it. You're young, you're beautiful, you're smart, you have everything it takes for you to do this thing. It's the 10-year anniversary. Why don't we make this summer, on the 10-year anniversary, the official launch of your new business? And even though you're still working now and getting clients, why don't we actually do a launch party? And
I love that.
then you're preparing for it and you're getting excited about this new event. And then we're going to turn, what was your mother's passing? June, July, June,
July 3rd, 2016.
July 3rd. July 3rd. Yeah. Me and those cancers, I don't know. There's a lot that goes on around June and July for me. My grandmother was a Cancer, although she would say, I never did astrology. And I'll tell you something. I felt like my grandmother was a Christian who believed that if you don't want to be talking to anything that's not alive, because it could be a bad guy. So my grandmother would have said, I will never be coming down and talking to you. So if you're hearing somebody, that's me. But now my grandmother's saying, I was wrong. I'm really sorry. I'm around you, Crystal. It only took 25 years for you to hear me, because I didn't believe that my grandmother would come around, because I had believed a story around heaven and hell and spirits and oracles and energy and angels. And the only person you should be praying to is Jesus. And so anything other than that. And so that for a long time was struggling for me, because I'd feel like, well, I do feel my dad, or I do feel, not anymore. It's not a struggle at all. So we have to be willing to rewrite the narrative, to change the beliefs so that you can actually do the dang thing. Because, Dorothy, here's what I'm going to tell you. We started this call with Manifesting 101. Make a list of the things you really want, and then make a list of how much you believe it. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Everything and anything will manifest if you want it with a 10 and you believe it with a 10. And if it hasn't, it is either because you don't really want it or you don't really believe it. And I have a funny feeling that you have some unconscious commitments to your mother. You've made some unconscious commitments to not outdoing her, just doing just enough, but not being too fantastic, being good, but not the best. And I think you need to rewrite that life script that you wrote when your mother was alive, because you loved your mom, and you sometimes struggled with your mom, and you
Yep.
made a lot of commitments to who you were going to be in the world. So you didn't outdo your mom too much. And now your mom really wants to see you shine and she's cheering for you. How does that
Absolutely.
make you feel? Like now we talk feeling again. Let's go back to it. How does that make you feel?
I feel amazing. In the
And let's all
sense
put
that, and lighter.
lighter. So let's put 2 feet on the
Yes.
floor and let's all anchor in with Dorothy. We all get to feel that. It doesn't serve us to tell ourselves stories like, because that is not a truth. That is a story. The truth is, I mean, I don't want to say it just like that, but the truth is, your mother wants her pictures up all over your house. Your
Yeah, she
mother's
probably
like,
does.
where
She
the
probably
hell are
does.
the pictures of me? What the hell? What the heck? You couldn't put a picture of me. Could you please put pictures of me? I'd like many of them in the bathroom. In fact, when you go in there, please put a picture of me so you can look over and go, hey, mom, we're going to the bathroom together. Who knew? She'll laugh. Anyways, I'm only teasing, but I think you need to get lots of pictures. I need to just bring all that happiness back alive. Your mother is not far. It's 222 where I am right now. Let's all make a wish because the angels are around you. Mom is not far. She's ready. And for whatever reason, she's like, bring the pictures out, even the ones I didn't like.
Which was most of them.
And that's also why, because you're also like, my mom didn't like any of the pictures. And I know that if I put pictures up, my mom will say, I didn't look good in that picture. I needed to lose weight, or I needed to get my hair done differently, or I needed to do something different. And so now it's time for you to break that commitment to your mom that we play small.
Yeah. Yes. 100%.
And you know, on the other side of desire is an energy called anger. And women are so uncomfortable with anger. But you know what I just felt in you? The energy of anger. Yes, absolutely. That's what I just felt. Anger is not unhealthy. Anger is energy in action. Yes, absolutely. It's ridiculous. I have made unconscious commitments to my mother, and my mother doesn't want me to do that anymore. And in fact, I don't want to do that anymore. And I have no karma with my mom. Say that, Dorothy.
I have no karma with my mom.
I have no karma to clear with my mom.
I have no karma to clear with my mom.
I have no karma to clear with anybody. I've
I
done,
have no karma to clear with anybody.
I am
That's
clean.
100% true.
I am good. And now it's my time.
I am good, and now it's my time.
So,
My
Dorothy,
time.
aren't you angry, even a tiny bit of frustration that you have allowed yourself to hold yourself back based on unconscious things that you didn't even know were getting in the way?
Oh shit, yes.
Bam! Oh, geez, that just came out just like I'm evangelical. I'm on the stage right now going, bam! And the people are falling. They're just falling to the ground with the Holy Spirit. No, I'm just kidding. And then pride is just one level higher than anger, which is like, and don't you deserve, no matter what you've been through, no matter all the grieving, no matter how hard it was at times, no matter how many times you put your own needs last, all of that, don't you deserve happiness now more than ever before? Don't you deserve to be happy?
Absolutely.
Don't you
100%.
deserve to have an incredible business?
Yep.
If other women can do it, can't you do it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, girl. So let me ask you the big question that we're going to finish our coaching call with today. So, Dorothy, what would courage have you do?
Light a fire under my butt.
So, what are you going to do? What does that mean?
Light
Give me a few
That
things.
means I'm going to stick to my word for 2025, which was momentum.
Momentum. And
And away
listen,
she goes.
yeah, and we all have this. But
Yeah.
what you're learning now is not so much of this and this. Now what you're learning is what goes up doesn't have to come down. That was an old song. We all need to go, what goes up keeps on going. If the ignition is strong enough, because that's the truth. If you want something badly enough, that rocket of desire will take off into the universe and it will never come back down to earth if you want it badly enough. So listen, it's not just the wanting, it's also the believing. So yes, I know you've got it in you. You're human. You had a little setback. And now you're going to say, what would courage have me do? And I would say, Dorothy, now is the time to strategize now that you're feeling different.
Yeah.
So courage would probably go outside and stand in the snow with your bare feet, ground yourself, shock your nervous system, jolt yourself and go, girl, tomorrow is the love day. I don't want to say that because in case the podcast don't go out when I say. So it's the month, it's February, it's the month of love. How about courage would have you do something that is so loving for yourself? What could you do this weekend that would be so self-loving?
I think would be to go for a nice long walk with my dogs.
Beautiful, beautiful. And on that walk, you're just going to let yourself be one with yourself, with nature, with all that is and all that will ever be. And you'll remind yourself that you have everything you need to be you, not just to be you, but to be your best you. It's all in there. And now you just have to allow it. Take a nice deep breath. I am, let's fill that word in. Dorothy, what are you now? I am
awesome.
I am awesome. And you are. Thank you so much, Dorothy. Thank you. What a powerful session. Ladies, thank you so much for being on our very first podcast here for Simply Woman. I want everyone, let's all take a deep breath. Because whether you were in the hot seat today, thank you, Dorothy, you're amazing, or you were just listening along, I know something in this conversation landed for you. I know it did for me because it landed exactly where it needed for you. And I know that. So here's my question today as we get ready to finish off Simply Woman. What's one thing that you're taking away from today? What spoke to you? What shifted inside of you? Because empowerment isn't just about hearing the truth. It's about choosing what you do with it. So take a moment to feel it, to own it, and to decide, because you have to decide. Decide what comes next for you. And if today's session moves something inside of you, don't keep it to yourself. Please share this episode with another woman who needs to hear it. Make sure you subscribe because next week we're going even deeper. And if you're ready for real transformation and you want to step into this work on a whole new level, we are going even deeper into empowerment. We're going to be talking a little bit more about our Master Empowerment Coach certification, but this is just the beginning, because here's the truth. You are powerful beyond measure. And now it's time to rise. Until next time, you are simply woman. Bye for now. That's it for today's episode of the Simply Woman podcast. If something shifted for you today, don't stop here. Take the next step. If you want to be coached live on the show, join us inside the Simply Woman podcast studio. Sign up now at www.swatinstitute.com/podcast-join-live. Now make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're ready to go even deeper, check out the Master Empowerment Coach certification, because the world needs more women leading the way. And now I leave you with just one question. What would courage have you do?